We expect over 30,000 fans today. The Royals went over the 1.7 million mark for the season in this weekend series with Texas. And the Rangers come in a half game back of the wild card, while the Royals are 3.5 games back with 8 games to go. Their skipper is Ron Washington, and there's a look at the American League wild card. The Royals still chasing the New York Yankees, who are just a half game in front of them. Then Texas, Cleveland, and Tampa Bay. The Tribe has by far the easiest schedule the rest of the way.
What a beautiful thing, Fizz, to see this team in contention on September 22nd.
Still there, still exciting. And Ian Kinsler will lead things off for Texas. He'll be followed by Andrus and then Alex Rios. Beltre will clean things up. Pierzynski, Moreland, Gentry, Murphy, and Leonis Martin will play center field and bat ninth. On the hill for the Royals, making his 33rd start this year, James Shields.
And I'll tell you what, Dayton Moore went out and made a tremendous trade by getting this ace to eat up innings, to be a leader on the field, #1. However, his personality and his confidence, he's even helped him off the field in the clubhouse in a big way. But right now today in this game, he has a chance to win his 100th career game. What a day it would be for him. He's going to need his defense, though, there's no question, like every Royals pitcher has used him this year. And they love to entertain, especially on this last game here. Alex Gordon can't wait to have another assist and throw out a big runner. He's won 2 consecutive Gold Gloves, and you could bet the house he's going to win his 3rd after only making 1 error this year, and that error was even questionable. I don't think he should have got it. He's fantastic, but Escobar's been making some great plays. Moose at third base. Hosmer will be there to dig him out. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
The Royals won 2-1 on Friday. They lost last night 3-1. Their offense has scored 3 or fewer runs in 7 of their last 11 games, and they'll need to provide offense because this Texas team potentially has tremendous power, but they have yet to hit a home run in this series.
Well, James has done his share. Now, he's given up 19 home runs this year, 11 to right-handers and 8 to left-handers.
He will face Ian Kinsler. Last time Ogando pitched for Texas, Kinsler swung at the first pitch and knocked it out of the park at Tampa Bay.
Don't do that, but that was his 29th career leadoff home run. This guy, he can do it. He's got some pop, but James Shields has controlled him in his career. He's only 6 for 32 off of James with a couple of homers.
The first pitch of the ball game is taken for strike 1 as James delivers a fastball.
Okay, now he's got a 4-seam fastball that he uses. That's a straight one, and he uses it up in the strike zone for effect and to get some swing and misses. But when he's on with his 2-seam fastball, that really moves into the righties and away from the lefties. There's a slider, little breaking ball there, and his signature pitch is his changeup. It's very difficult to square up, and he can throw it at any time he wants for a strike.
Kinsler goes right center field. Justin Maxwell comes on a few steps to make the catch. We have seen absolutely sensational weather in all 3 games of this series. Today, at the first pitch, it was 75 degrees, and because of that and the enthusiasm in Royals baseball in the community, over 8,500 walk-ups. That was at noon today, so we probably had about 500 more from noon until first pitch.
Okay, the conditions today at the K, you talked about the beauty, but however, there is sun, and when that sun's out and no clouds, it can affect mainly the left side of the field. Right side, you're protected.
James has done most of his pitching as a Tampa Bay Ray against the Texas Rangers, and has always controlled Texas. Overall, his record 7-3 and an excellent 2.66 earned run average.
That's the lowest ERA by any active pitcher against the Texas Rangers.
There's one guy who's had a lot of success against James. It's the guy at the plate, Elvis Andrus. 11 hits in 26 at bats. Swing and a miss, and he is down in the count 1-2.
Well, just watching the 6 pitches that Shields has thrown, less is more. And to see he's under control. Typically he is wound tight, but to see him relaxed is a good thing because he's not going to overpower. And when he doesn't overthrow, he gets even more movement on his changeup and his 2-seam sinker.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrus 0 for his last 10, but prior to that was really hot. He hit .500 in the Tampa Bay series with a couple of home runs, and he knifes that one up the middle for a base hit. So a speed guy is on, a guy with 40 stolen bases this year at first base.
That's good enough for third in the big leagues.
But Andrus knows all about James Shields. He has 3 pickoffs this year, so this combination of Shields and Perez will be very difficult to steal on.
The 2 at first that he nabbed were important guys, speed guys. But the one timed pickoff play they did at third base was one of the most beautiful pickoffs we've seen all year long by any pitcher.
Now the big tall right-hander Alex Rios up. There's the first throw over, and is it a balk? Yes, it is, and Elvis will be given second base, and James, he may want to talk with one of the umpires about what he did, and they just said you moved your knee.
It's okay. Let it go. The important thing in one-game playoffs is to try to slow the game down and don't let anyone take you out of your rhythm.
The Texas offense was hit hard with that suspension of those who had used performance-enhancing drugs, and they lost Nelson Cruz for almost the rest of the season. So Texas went out and acquired Rios. There goes Andrus to throw to third. He is out.
Make that 21 of 65. Salvi's nailed this year. Not a good jump. Probably not the right time to go either early in the game like this. You want to make sure when you try to steal third base, because you're already in scoring position, that you're 100% sure you can make it. That throw was up a little bit. Moose had to bring the tag down and still got him by plenty.
Rios fouls it back. So that's a big play. Instead of a guy at third base with less than 2 outs, where a ground ball or a fly ball could give Texas the early lead. 2 out, nobody on.
Yep. Rangers are second most steals behind the Rangers, but they don't have to worry about it with Salvi back there.
To left field. Gordon hasn't played well, and that would have made it a 1-0 game, but Salvador Perez bails out James Shields, throwing out Andrus at third. Here comes the Royal offense when we come back. This is the final regular season game of the K in this 40th anniversary season of this great ballpark. And here is our Sprint question for the day. What's your best memory from the K? That's our unlimited answers question. Is it the Eric Hosmer walk-off with the rally sauce on his forehead, or Greg Holland striking out Mauer in the pouring rain? How about Guthrie? 2 complete game shutouts, one May 4th, the other August 5th, and Kane with a grand slam that gave a young lady from Overland Park $25,000. That came on a tremendous come-from-behind victory on the 4th of July. Ned Yost is looking for win number 82. His lineup will have Gordon, Bonifacio, Hosmer, Butler, then Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Justin Maxwell in to face a right-hander because Ogando's changeup is very good on lefties, and Escobar will bat ninth.
All right, Royals are going to face a guy who's tall and lean. 6'4", 170. He's a good hard thrower. 93 to 96 mile-an-hour fastball. Slider, and you mentioned his changeup, been very effective. Left-handers are only hitting 196 with 6 homers. Righties 270 with 5 homers. So when you have splits like that, that'll get the opposing manager's attention, and it did with Ned. He looked at that and he goes, you know what? Wow, those numbers against lefties are pretty good. I'm going to sit David Lowe and play Maxwell.
In there, strike 3 called.
Okay, he's going to come right at him. That's what he wants to do. Pound the strike zone, just like he did in his last start versus Tampa Bay. It was a nasty breaking ball there. He allowed just 1 run in 5 innings in a 7-1 win.
And this is only his 2nd consecutive start after 4 relief appearances. He had to come off the disabled list because of right shoulder problems, and it was one of 3 stints he has spent on the DL this year. Bonifacio tries to dump one to left, but it stays up for Gentry, who makes the catch, and 2 quick outs for Ogando.
All right, defending behind him. It's a pretty good defensive team, but we're going to show you A.J. Pierzynski, not just because of the importance of being able to throw out runners because the Royals run, but the fact that this guy leads all active players in games as a catcher. He's had some kind of career.
Now Eric Hosmer, who has had some kind of season. Hosmer, a .304 average, 17 home runs, 78 RBIs. That's second to Alex Gordon, and he belted his 17th in the 9th inning of Matt Garza. And he hits this one pretty well to right field, but it stays in play for the right fielder Alex Rios, who makes the catch, and that will do it for KC in the first. We head to the 2nd inning of play, and James Shields on the hill to face Adrian Beltre, A.J. Pierzynski, and Mitch Moreland. Beltre has been the Rangers' warrior this year, and he's hitting .341 since July 1st. His 190 hits are the most in the American League, 2nd most to Matt Carpenter in all of baseball. The St. Louis Cardinals, 2nd baseman Carpenter has 194.
You know, Ron Washington has really got the most out of Beltre this year. This is his 600th at-bat of the season.
And he whistles that one down the left field line, but foul.
Now, his production recently has fallen off some. He hasn't carried the team like he did for most of the season. And some say it's because of the 152 games he's played. Typically, he hasn't played that many. They'll give him a break here or there. But this year, he's really grinded it out, and it's paid off for Ron Washington.
And you wonder, Rex, if it's because they're not able to DH him as much. I mean, last year with players like Hamilton, Michael Young, Mike Napoli, they were able to move guys around.
You hit it on the head. You lose those guys. Now you got to play him every day at third, which is quite a lot of work.
They've also not been able to have protection for him with Nelson Cruz still suspended.
But he's a solid veteran player.
28 RBIs, 8 or 28 home runs with 88 RBIs this year. Punches that one up the middle and past Escobar into left center field.
Pretty nice attempt to throw behind him right there. I like that. Staying alive. Escobar was playing him to pull. Beltre got a kick out of that. Look at him. He turns around, but he's still watching it. Okay? He basically is baiting him. But here's a player here like Salvador Perez, like Escobar, like Miguel Cabrera, has a lot of fun playing baseball. And it's childlike, and you can see it.
Pierzynski goes center field. Kane off to the races, and he will run it down. Boy, that almost looked like what took place on Friday's game when Beltre led off with a single and Pierzynski followed with a double off the right center field wall, but Kane was able to read this one perfectly off the bat.
Yeah, and A.J. Pierzynski, he may not get another pitch that good the rest of the game. So he recognized it in the first pitch and almost was able to knock in a run. Good play by Kane. Great jump.
Texas took a 1-0 lead in that second inning of Friday's game, but the Royals responded and won their 42nd comeback of the year. A bases loaded walk-off by, not a walk-off, bases loaded walk by Escobar in the 8th inning gave them a 2-1 lead, and of course Holland would come on and close it out. Mitch Moreland, who's been in a major slump, 0 for 8 in this series and just a 190 average since coming off the disabled list with a hamstring injury.
Well, I talked about the sun, how it can affect the left side of the field today, but those flags will affect that side too. As Pierzynski's soft liner almost went over his head. The ball is carrying to left center, not to right field, as evident Hosmer's ball got caught up in it in the first inning. Play the elements here at the K.
Beltre led the inning off with a single up the middle. Pierzynski flied out. Moreland, who has 23 home runs this year, at the plate. James tried to come up and in with a cut fastball, but missed. Just 8 games to go. 6 teams still battling and hoping.
Okay, James Shields, when he faces left-handed hitters, he knows the pitches that induce the double play ball. And that's that changeup and sinkers going away. He's induced 21 double plays this season. That's what he's looking for here.
Falling behind Moreland at 3-1. Right now, Tampa Bay, Cleveland have the edge in the wild card race. Cleveland has Kluber on the hill today against Houston. And Tampa Bay has Hellickson against Baltimore, and Scott Feldman and the Rays have the early 1-0 lead in that game on David DeJesus' home run. Three and 2.
Yep, Ron Washington wasn't going to let Beltre run on that play to stay out of the double play. Now he'll run here probably, but Salvi is a weapon, and he knows that he can't get any more of his runners thrown out, Ron Washington. So we'll see. There's only one out. I mean, they want to try to stay out of a double play, but not at the expense of a strike him out, throw him out.
So the count is full. Beltre at first. Got a fastball in his wheelhouse and got underneath and went straight back, and James read that, so that may mean he gets a changeup.
It could be, but Beltre wasn't running, and I don't blame Washington. Moreland has struck out more than any Ranger this year, 109. With 110 coming right here, this pitch.
Because James saw that he was on his fastball. Slow roller third. Moustakas goes second. That's all they'll get, as Beltre went hard into second base and then braces himself as he comes up into Escobar's base.
Wow, that's a 5-6 force out there, and I'll tell you what, had Beltre overslid the base, he could have hurt Escobar.
And you see our Toyota League leaders, the Royals have been #1, it seems like, the entire second half. 3.47 ERA. Their pitching has been outstanding. We told you the offense has scored only 3 or fewer runs in 7 of their last 11 games, but a 2.8 ERA in that time, and that's why they keep winning. Looking to take their 7th series in their last 9. The batter, Craig Gentry, red hot, 7 hits, last 9 at bats. And he goes to right field. On comes Maxwell and makes the diving catch.
Whet the fans' appetite here at the K with an exceptional play to end the inning. Beautiful.
Back at the K, a sellout crowd here. Final game of the regular season. They were selling standing room only right before that first pitch, and we have 10,348 walk-ups today. That is outstanding. Thank you, Kansas City. And here's Billy Butler slicing one foul. 0-2.
There is baseball passion in this city. Last year, Fizz, I saw it in just my first year here. Now, played here several times as a player, but I heard a lot of passion from these people, and now they're getting meaningful games.
Butler knocks one into right field. Well, there have been a lot of great moments this year. One that electrified the K, June 12th, Eric Hosmer had a walk-off base hit to beat Detroit, and of course was doused with Billy Butler's hit-it-a-ton rally sauce when he celebrated with his mates right between second and first base.
And you know, when that was live, I thought that somebody clipped him with the helmet or something.
I did too.
And he was bleeding. I go, oh my, what happened? But he was so happy. It looked good. Anyway, all of these are wonderful. And this is fantastic, I tell you. But for me, I loved Lorenzo Cain's first career Grand Slam. Not only was that special for him and the team, but it was the first time that our Sonic Slam ever paid off. $25,000 to Debbie Hassett. I'll never forget that day, and neither will Lorenzo.
Well, why don't we wait to talk about that when the guys show that Grand Slam home run?
Well, I couldn't help it there. The questions were up there. I had to tell you my pick. I know no one really cares, but look, I do. It was fun.
Salvador Perez has been involved with a lot of great moments this year. He already threw out Elvis Andrus trying to steal third base. He had a 2-home run game, we remember, in Minnesota, and he pulls this one to the left side, down in the count 1-2. Pretty impressive numbers when you're a catcher. Now, the catcher in the American League who has the most RBIs is Matt Wieters of the Baltimore Orioles with 75, and then Perez is number 2, even though he's missed some time with a concussion and also a family emergency on his fist.
So not a lot of Royals have faced Ogando a lot. The most is Escobar with 8 at-bats. Billy's got 10, now 11. Hosmer has 8. But really the rest of them got 2 and 1. So you look for the fastball. That's Alexi Ogando's key. Throw it. And he'll be coming at these guys with it. Yesterday's game, Matt Garza did an excellent job finishing off Royals hitters with fastballs. They were taken when they had 2 strikes on them. Left a couple of runners on base. You've got to be ready for that fastball and don't miss it in one-game playoffs like they're in now. You can't miss them.
Salvador got fooled and pops it up. It will get out of play. But this lineup, historically, with only 9 hits in 50 at-bats against Ogando. But I will see this. It's not the same Ogando we saw 2 years ago in 2011. That's when he was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. He has had 3 injuries this year to his right arm. That's in the dirt. No advance. Once to his right biceps, and that was in May and 2 other times to his right shoulder, and that is always troublesome, and that's why he likely will be on a pitch count. Only threw 69 pitches in his last start. 5-inning victory, 7-1 over the Rays. He rolls this one to first. They go to second and get the force there, just barely. Boy, I thought Moreland really took a chance.
Oh, I don't know. That was really close. Billy Butler going hard. Might have gotten to the base in time, but Jeff Nelson said no. Got the force. Games like this, when you make a play that close, you really have to be convicted to make the play. You can't have any second thoughts. You either go or you don't. Take the out at first.
Here is Mike Moustakas. And that first pitch is down low. Ogando has tremendous success against left-handed hitters. They're only batting 190 against the right-hander this year. Right-handers hitting 270, and Ned Yost was telling us it's because of that changeup. He delivers a fastball on this occasion. The count moves to 1-1.
It's going to be important for him to help out AJ when some fast Royals get on base. Salvi's not going anywhere. But typically he's not really good at helping catchers when it comes to steals.
He's been much better in the second half of this season, but we remember him being in the teens as the catcher for the Chicago White Sox. Moustakas got it on his hands and fouls it straight back. But the Chicago staff, I didn't think, held runners nearly as well as the Texas staff under Mike Maddox.
Yeah, you know, AJ, he's not known for throwing guys out, but he has improved. He's thrown out 16 of 64 overall.
To the right side, Kinsler will go to second base. That's all they'll get, and they just changing parts with Butler leading off with a hit and Perez taking over for him at first base, and now Moustakas at first base. Parents, sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Your members receive a gray batting practice jersey, Royals hat, blue wristbands, and much more. Membership has been reduced to $15 for an end-of-the-year sale. Be a part of the fun by joining at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Lorenzo Cain goes after the first pitch and skies it in the air, right center field. Leonis Martin makes the catch, and the Royals are done in the second. Great moments at the K this year. April 9th at the K in the driving rain. Greg Holland facing Joe Mauer with the bases loaded. Will he throw him the 98-mile-an-hour fastball? Wow.
Yes.
Struck him out. Royals won it. Again, our Sprint best memory from the K. Right now, 51% like the rally sauce. David Murphy will lead things off for Texas in the third inning. He has a pair of doubles in this series. His average at 221.
Hasn't had a lot of success off of James Shields. 5 for 24. 5 strikeouts.
Ooh. And that hits James. He is able to recover, pick it up, and throw him out.
Ooh, I think it got him on his right shoulder. Maybe his elbow even. Not good. And you can tell by where the ball bounces usually how square it struck him. That ball bounced back towards home plate, so that got him pretty good. A quiet hush has fallen over the K.
You know, there's so many parts of your body it can hit. The thigh, the leg, the buttocks, the backside. Why does it always seem to hit a hand, an arm, elbow, shoulder?
Because right-handers and left-handers, when they throw, they follow through, and their throwing side is exposed. That's why. Now you're hoping you throw it hard enough to where you spin around and hit you in the back or the leg. But this one here, ouch, got him right on the elbow. And look where the ball bounced. I mean, bounced by, there's a close shot here. We'll see it. Oh, wow. Right on the elbow, right on it.
We'll listen to this next one. He was able to get Murphy, but Nick Kenny and Ned Yost want to see James throw. He's continuing to shake his hand, trying to get that pain out.
Well, that was right on the end of your elbow. And I've never been hit there before, right on the very end of the bow. But I can imagine as a starting pitcher, anywhere on your throwing arm, there's going to be some discomfort.
The hit speed was 86 miles an hour, but when you get hit in the elbow, I don't care if it's a 50-mile-an-hour curveball or a comebacker like Shields was fielding, it's painful. Right now, he's coming upstairs and has not hit the target in the first two throws to Salvador.
One toss is good enough sometimes for guys, but two, now maybe three practice throws, oh, not a good sign because he's not sure.
Well, James, one of the toughest competitors we've ever been around.
You know it's going to bother him, but he's going to stay in. I'd bet the house on it. Too bad.
He is an absolute workhorse. This year is his 7th straight 200-inning season. Leads the American League with 213 and 2/3 coming into this game. And he continues to manipulate that right arm, trying to get the feeling back so he can get the finish and locate his pitches. He faces Leonis Martin here. And then back to the top of the order in Ian Kinsler.
Okay, starting over right now. Strike one is going to be his biggest pitch. See if he can command the strike zone.
Martin shows bunt, and James missed with the fastball. One and one. The Rangers have not played well in September, only 5-14, while the Royals have gone 12-7. There's the changeup, and that is his money pitch. Martin has become their everyday center fielder the last 2/3 of this season. Came in batting .260 with 8 home runs. And he swings and misses at the off speed. That's strikeout number 1 by James. Let's go back to Arlington early June. James Shields had a similar situation with the Rangers on June 1st. Hit off of the back of his right arm.
Okay. Okay, but see where the ball bounced. It bounced in back of him, so it didn't get him flush. I'm telling you, that bounce tells you a lot of how it ricochets off the body, how hard you were struck.
Now Kinsler, and he will single on the first pitch. The game on June 1st, James came back, finished strong, gave up just 1 run in 7 innings. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. We heard all about James when he was with the Rays, and Joe Madden has said many times he was at the cornerstone of the Tampa Bay organization developing the Ray way. And James was in the minor leagues, and he helped that club go from desperate times to the World Series. And as a matter of fact, he still has the only win in the World Series by a Ray. That was beating Philadelphia when the Phils won in 5 games.
Kinsler, 15 stolen bases, has been caught 10 times, so not a great percentage.
Rex, I remember you and I visiting with James Shields in spring training, coming away really impressed. But one thing he said was, this is a club that's very serious about baseball, but they needed to lighten up. They needed to enjoy the game a little bit more. And that's one of the characteristics he brought to the clubhouse.
It is. And the other was the intensity and the passion that I'd never seen before. And sitting down with him in spring training, doing an interview with him, I didn't sense that, because he was new, he was real friendly, and I saw as the season progressed an animal that appeared more often than not. I mean, a guy who's serious, who wants to help Dayton Moore and Ned Yost change the losing environment here to a winning environment. And that's what he's done in his first season. And you can't do it with a young rookie right fielder. You could do it with a horse, an ace.
We remember in spring training where if you're a veteran starting pitcher, you might pitch your 2-3 innings and then go take a shower and head home. What we noticed early with James Shields, a veteran pitcher pitching his innings and not leaving the dugout. He would stay in, talk with some of the young pitchers who were on that spring training roster. Let them know the mentality, how they were working, how they worked with Salvador Perez. Andrus has a 3-1 count.
James Shields, when he stretches, he turns his body and he looks with both eyes at the lead at first base. And he told me, when I can see the runner, I can identify the lead. When I see out of my peripheral, I can only see movement. That's why he does it like he does. He wants to get a visual. Watch him as he looks over there.
And that ball is shot up the middle. Going over to third will be Ian Kinsler as Andrus comes through with his second straight hit of the afternoon.
Ooh, man, and I'll tell you what, Lorenzo Cain, he had a shot at Kinsler, but he held up thinking, you know what, I'm not going to take a chance at throwing the ball away here. Okay, because that ball was hit hard. Kinsler just getting to second base. Cain's got 7 outfield assists, and he had almost the whole 90 feet to throw him out. But I'll tell you what, he made the right decision. He's going to let James take care of it and not overthrow or take a chance there. I've given him a run.
Well, the advantage getting to third base is that Shields does throw a lot of wild pitches, because that changeup a lot of times will be buried in the dirt. He's tied for third most in the American League with 11 this year, so Salvador has to smother those pitches in the dirt. Rios sends one to third. Moustakas goes the short way, gets the force, and Shields gets out of trouble in the third inning. We head to the bottom of number 3, and Justin Maxwell will lead things off. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat today is Jim Herzig. After retiring from the Kansas City Police Department, Jim joined the Royals event staff and has spent the last 17 seasons helping people at Kauffman Stadium. He provides fans with great customer service and experience, and we see him every single day we come to the K. He's got a big smile on his face and a how do you do.
He sits at that desk as you walk into the front doors.
Justin Maxwell goes after the first pitch and gets on with a base hit, second for the Royals.
Okay, we've seen a lot of first ball swinging Royals, especially in your first time around. Okay, now you're taking a chance when that happens, but that ball was an off-speed pitch that was elevated, and Maxwell couldn't lay off of it. First time through, see some pitches. Expend this guy. Get that pitch count up a little bit. But
Justin has had a good series with a couple of hits and a couple of walks, and here is Escobar.
When you get a hit on that first pitch, there's nothing wrong with that.
Pretty good hit and run guy. Escobar will bunt, but right back to the pitcher. Only play will be first base, and they sacrifice Maxwell to second. Well, fans, the Royals have rolled out an interactive fan engagement program called Royals Rewards. You can earn points for online ticket purchases and social activity with the club's digital platforms like the team website, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Fans can redeem their points for prizes and special experiences. The program is free, so go create your profile now at royalsrewards.com to start earning points. Good time to get on board. We really like this club. I mean, they went from 72 wins last year to 81 so far, with 8 to go this season.
Right man, right spot.
Alex Gordon.
297 average with the runner in scoring position.
Alex has been a little quiet on this homestand, just 3 hits and 23 at bats, and that's seen his batting average slip below 270.
And just 1 for 11 off of Ogando.
Ogando struck him out on 3 pitches in the first. Tests him upstairs, 2-0.
Okay, a little leery of that fastball second time through the order, looks like here. Going with some off speed. Royals desperately looking for a bus driver today.
Alex with a line drive to the shortstop, and Andrus makes the catch.
Shift for Ron Washington paid off. Saved a run.
Andrus certainly one of the best defensive shortstops in the American League.
He is.
Now the Royals need a clutch hit with 2 out from Emilio Bonifacio. He has a 6-game hit streak.
One of the things that makes Andrus such a good shortstop is not only has he proven that he can play defense there, but he also can hit. But he's taken his team to the World Series. He's helped them in postseason. He's got extreme experience at such a young age as a shortstop.
Bonifacio hits it sharply, but Kinsler has it. Throws out Emilio. Royals are done in the 3rd. We enter the 4th inning of play at the K. Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler. We're now joined by Vice President George Brett. And George, regardless of what happens the rest of the year, I mean, 3.5 games back, 8 games to go in the wild card, a lot of teams to climb over. The fact that they've gone from 72 wins to 81 already, and the improvement that you've seen, I want you to respond to that.
Look at the stands. Were you here last night?
Absolutely
40,000, 37. I can't remember coming to a game here in the last 15, 20 years where we had this type of crowd late September, which is pretty spectacular. That means the guys in the field are doing their job.
And the energy, where we're just laying out as broadcasters with the fans just cheering, "Let's go Royals." And it reminds us so much of watching you play in the 70s and 80s in the crowds that were at Old Royal Stadium at that time.
Well, you know, just driving around town, and it's Chiefs season. You know, the Chiefs are 3-0 right now, but you listen to the talk radio shows, you watch the news at night, and it's like, okay, where do we spend our attention? The Royals are still in it. The Chiefs are having a good year. Usually by now it's all Kansas City Chiefs, but the Royals are still a major factor in the sports scene in Kansas City late September, which just shows that the fans here in Kansas City have really adopted these guys. They like the style of play they're seeing. They like the hustle. They like the pitching staff. They like the defense, the timely hitting on occasion. But all in all, it's just showing what a great baseball town this really is. If we put a product on the field, they'll come out and support. And you've seen more support in the last this homestand than we've seen all year, because they're still in a pennant race, and I think people are excited about the ball club.
I think that's very important for the fan base here, George, but I'm looking at a more national audience. They're all of a sudden the Royals.
Pierzynski pops up, and Salvador diving for the baseball, can't reach it.
Nationally, I'm getting texts on my phone's blowing up from people all over the country doing radio shows. They want to know about the Royals. To me, that's even more important because you're going to attract free agents. Other players that are seeing this excitement here want a part of that, and that's good for the future.
They do. They really do. And I had a very brief conversation with Dayton Moore today, and we were talking about the possibility of trying to get players to come in. And he said our payroll is going to be this next year, and we're probably going to, make some decisions here and there. It's going to be easier to get people to come to Kansas City now. And when they see the type of year we had, they look at our pitching staff, they look at our ball club, and they go, okay, that's a need they have. That's what I can bring to them. They came so close last year. Maybe I am the missing piece of the puzzle. And to be able to create an opportunity like that for somebody and feel like if they come over here, they can finally complete the puzzle, that's a good feeling. That really is.
Pierzynski tries to dump one to left center field, and Gordon makes a fine running catch. Beltre was thinking about going and then thought better. Gordon with his 15 assists this year. George, you mentioned Royals success, Chiefs success. I think winning breeds winning. It doesn't matter if KU basketball is involved, K-State football, Mizzou athletics. I think the whole community comes together when winning. You saw that when the Chiefs were winning, and the Royals were winning as well in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it makes Kansas City a great sports town. And, it really is. KU football is, it is what it is. They won a great game yesterday. But there was a game here where the Chiefs won, the Royals won. Every team won in this area. KU won, Missouri won, Kansas State won, and it was like a complete sweep of the board. And it made you feel good to be from Kansas City. It really did.
It did. I remember that day.
Yeah. And then we were even talking, my kid was talking, Jackson's football team won at St. Thomas, and the next thing you know, the high school team won where my other son goes to school. So it was a sweeper. It was a lot of fun.
And I also thought Friday was really special, the way they won, and it was also an opportunity to let those youngsters who were up from the minor leagues who had received awards, and they saw the electricity.
I got a chance to visit with a bunch of them. They put them in the Frank White suite down the left field line and right field line, and I got a chance to visit with a bunch of them, and they were excited. They really were. A lot of them, it's the first time stepping on a Major League Baseball field, and to see 40,000 or 37,000 people here, to see the Royals play a great game, and they were real excited to be here.
George, you saw Giordano Ventura the other night make his debut.
I didn't. You didn't.
Okay, he's going
right
tomorrow.
I'll be watching that one on TV.
Who does he remind you of in your day? Is there any young pitcher? I mean, you've seen some highlights of him, though, obviously.
Yeah, I've seen highlights.
Who would he come to mind for you? Because he's really young, but to throw 102.
Well, Saberhagen never threw 102. But he pitches like Saberhagen. After that first batter, I remember Saberhagen. Everybody thought he was so calm and relaxed and cool on the mound. I remember the first pitch he threw in the big leagues, it was a pitch out and he threw a strike. And I was playing third base. I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Man, I'm a little nervous out here."
How about that? Hosmer with the catch.
He said, "I'm a little nervous," but all of a sudden, after that first pitch and after Ventura's first at-bat, he walked the guy in 4 pitches, he settled down, much like Saberhagen did. But he's got a chance to be a real good player, a real good pitcher, and I know the Royals organization, the front office, the coaching staff at the major league level, and all the minor league coaches that he played for are real excited about his potential.
A friend of ours, Mark Gubazaw, told me your importance in the clubhouse when you were winning, and I think James Shields brings that to the Royal clubhouse. We noticed it in spring training. I want you to talk about that mentality that he can bring, even though he's just a starting pitcher.
Well, he's a big plus for the pitching staff. I'm sure he talks to these guys every time before they go out. He's played on losing teams in Tampa. He saw the turnaround there, and he's been a big part of this here. Just getting guys ready to play every day. Baseball's a long, long season, 162 games, a lot of ups and downs, and you got to be mentally prepared to play every day, and I think he brings that.
Can you please stay with us for one more
another half an inning?
Thanks, George.
Well, Shields pitching like a winner, gives up a leadoff double, then gets the next 3 Rangers. More great moments at the K. How about May 4th and August 5th? Jeremy Guthrie's first 2 major league shutouts. On May 4th, he shut out the Chicago White Sox. That was the first in his big league career. And then we'll go to August 5th against the Minnesota Twins, and Guthrie would get his second. Right now, Eric Hosmer will lead things off. And Hosmer takes outside. We had that sprint question about Hosmer's rally sauce walk-off hit. Greg Holland striking out Maurer with the bases loaded. Guthrie's complete game shutouts, and Cain's grand slam in the Sonic sixth.
George, which one do you like?
I would take Lorenzo Cain's walk-off grand slam. That was against Detroit.
That was ours.
That was against Detroit. He had 2 strikes against him, and it didn't look like he was even going to make contact. He looked like an idiot up there hitting, and all of a sudden he got a good swing and hit a home run. It was a big one.
How about the 25,000?
Yeah, to the lady. What do you think that lady voted for?
Oh, that's Debbie Hassett.
Debbie Hassett from where?
Overland Park.
Overland Park, Kansas.
Well, here is Hosmer, and a lot of the Royal fans will read that magazine Baseball Insider, and we've talked with Hos about this before, the turning point of the year offensively for him. And he said when Pedro Grifol and George Brett joined the team, he said, Pedro helped me fundamentally, mechanically, and George helped me mentally. How did you help Eric?
Well, it's a long season, like I was saying, the last half inning, and it's 162 games. You're going to have a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of good at-bats, a lot of bad at-bats. You're going to hit the ball hard, and they're going to catch it. And basically it was not, don't get too excited when things are going good, because things will go bad again. Don't get too down when things are going bad, because things will go good again. And if you hit the ball hard right at somebody, you've done your job. Don't worry about that. But I think the one thing that we did is we try to give them a plan, something that they could work on, rather than just during batting practice, go out there and swing and say, well, what are you working on? Well, I'm just getting loose. No, don't get loose. Let's go out and have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, your plan's going to fail. And if we said that once to the players, we said it 100 times. Let's work on something in batting practice, and the more we work on it in batting practice, the more it'll become natural in a game. Don't just go out there and with no plan. Let's have a plan. And I think a lot of the guys took to that, and I think that's why some of the averages have gone up. But, you know, I wasn't a fundamental guy. I was more of a mental guy. I saw Pedro doing fundamentals with these guys in drills I've never even seen before. And so he kind of took that by the helm, and I just tried to boost them up and tell them how good they were, even when they were going bad. Hey, you're swinging really good, you know. If they make it out, don't worry about it. You got 3 more at-bats. Or if they got to hit their first at-bat, hey, anybody can get 1. Let's get 2. Or if they get 2 at-bats, let's get 3. You know, let's just keep them grinding to do something, because that's how you get your average from, like Moustakas was at 176. Mike, getting 1 hit a game is not going to get it to 250, where we want to get it by the end of the season. Getting 2 and 3. So every time he'd get a hit, come on, you can get it. Let's get another one now. Let's keep grinding. And sure enough, you know, he got it up to 240, and now he's just kind of hovering around there. But one more week, you know, good week, he could get the average up to 250, and that's hitting 300 over the second half of the season.
There you go.
Yeah, so, now, what would you tell him now?
That you still got 8 games to go, and let's keep grinding. Let's keep grinding. Let's go. It's not about batting average now. It's about winning ball games, and that's one thing I noticed early in the season. When I got there, guys were more concerned with what they were doing rather than wins and losses. Now they're all thinking about, hey, now the only thing that's important is winning ball games.
Moose had a tough time letting the bad go.
Yeah, he had a real tough time with it. And he got called into the principal's office quite a lot. And you know, he didn't like getting called into the principal's office that much.
And he didn't like Uncle Hud calling him out for not hustling either.
And he's hustling a little bit more now, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's his choice, though, what kind of player he wants to be, right, George?
And I talked to him about it. You brought it to my attention. It's funny, when you're sitting in the dugout, you really don't watch. You watch the game. You don't watch guys hit a ball, and you don't watch them after the ball's hit. You watch the ball, and all of a sudden, you know, it comes to my attention that guys aren't running out balls very hard. And so when Hud told me that, you know, we just kind of related to the people involved, and we've seen a little bit better effort from them.
Billy hits into a 4-6-3 double play.
George, you're the man. Thank you for sharing time with our audience here, and especially the refreshing part about you helping out and still contributing to the Royals that you love. Thanks a lot, George.
I love the organization. I love the team. I love the guys down there. It's a great bunch of guys. They get along great, and a lot of them, it's the first time in a pennant race like this, and I think they're handling it pretty well.
How about this kid?
What a player. Should be a Gold Glover, should be an All-Star. And, you know, I was just talking to some people, and for a guy that plays as much as he is to be hitting 288 with 11 home runs and 73 RBIs is for a catcher, and we all know what he does behind the plate. Should be an All-Star for many years to come. And a great guy. Just a fantastic individual. Comes to play every day.
Who's the Royals MVP this year?
Who's the Royals MVP? Eric Hosmer.
Wow.
I would say Eric Hosmer.
Over Greg Holland.
Well, he's a pitcher. He's the pitcher of the year.
Salvador hits it right on the button, but lines out to left field. George, thanks so much for dropping by.
You got it. No problem.
George, I'll give you a standing O.
Okay, another great crowd. It's sold out. They were selling standing room only tickets just moments before the first pitch. 1.739 million fans came to the K last year, and we're at 1,749,888 through the first pitch today. We had over 10,000 walk-ups this afternoon.
But those folks that are here missed George Brett for one whole inning. It was beautiful.
There's a soft line drive to Mike Moustakas. Hey ladies, do you have what it takes to be a member of the K Crew? Well, here's your chance to find out. Mark your calendars for Saturday, October 26th. For more information, just go to Royals.com/K Crew. They do a great job getting those fans involved.
Well, I'll tell you, Shields really appreciates Murphy lining out to Moose than off of his elbow like he did last time up.
Indeed. And here is Martin trying to bunt his way on, and he tried on the first pitch from James, who snaps at the baseball as it's returned to him.
Okay, well, as George was leaving, I asked George, have you ever got hit on the end of an elbow? And he goes, yeah, Hud, I've gotten hit down there in that bone, and everything was fine running and hitting, but when I went out to throw, I couldn't even throw the ball. So what James Shields absorbed, that line drive off of Murphy, his bat, and the fact that he's out there battling and pitching and throwing as hard as he can with that arm like that shows me a lot about his toughness.
What can Nick Kenny and his staff do in between innings to help James stay loose?
You can't ice him. You can't put restriction on that. That's after. That cools the muscles and even the bone.
Is any kind of salve that put on there?
You know what? Pretty much just tape an aspirin on it and give him a little rub, love, to say, hey, come on, James. We're counting on you still. Rub, love, sometimes can be the best.
The 3-1 to Martin, and he takes high ball 4. That's the first walk by Shields, and it's a speed guy, and Martin, who has 33 stolen bases this year.
So, you know, you don't worry about a base stealing team when you have the weapons that you have. James Shields, one of the best pickoff moves, and gets the ball home quickly. And Salvador Perez, undoubtedly one of the best catch and throw guys there is.
Very close. He almost picked off Kinsler in the 3rd and almost picked off Martin here in the 5th inning. And Kinsler and Andrus in 4 at-bats have 3 hits, and they are now and next. Strike 1 to Ian.
James gets his secondary pitches over for strikes and gets ahead of you, you're in trouble, because now you're thinking, man, you know, I know he finishes guys off of those pitches, but now he's starting me with them. Confuses hitters.
In there, down in the count, 0-2 is Ian Kinsler.
Okay, now if you strike out Kinsler, you're doing something. He's 4th in the league and hardest to strike out. once every 10.3 times.
510 at bats, 56 strikeouts.
It's pretty good.
Backhanded by Salvador.
You know, the thing that's impressive about watching Salvador, one of the many things, is that he doesn't panic, or there's no jitterness, or there's no snapping at the ball. He trusts his hands. Look at how he trusts his hands there. He puts his hands where he knows that ball's going to go in there, and that makes him softer.
One thing Shields is doing is he's shortening the lead of Martin with 2 throws that almost caught the young player out of Cuba. He goes, pitch is swung on, hit in the air, center field. Kane has it measured near the track, pulls it down, and Martin must retrace his steps to first base. Get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Ogando is topped out at 97, Shields at 94, but it's all about location and movement, not always velocity. Shields' movement, particularly on his changeup, are always outstanding. Even to a right-handed batter, he'll throw it. It has late fading sinking action down and in on a right-hander. Runner goes, pitch taken, throw by Salvador. They got him. He's 2 for 2 today.
He's got a cannon. Thou shalt not steal on Salvi.
Salvador Perez, a couple of wow moments, throwing out a Ranger at third, another at second. I know he was creeping up on Matt Wieters on guys caught stealing this year.
You know what else? He's catching up on Wieters' Gold Glove. It'll be his soon.
Well,
Salvador.
with 2 today, he has now tied Matt Wieters for the most in the American League, catching 22 would-be stealers, and ouch, that hurt. Royal fans just love him. They love the effort. Remember how he laid out on the little pop-up behind home plate? Didn't come up with it, but went after it with such enthusiasm. We see that passion day in, day out.
Energy when I see him. That's calm right now. He's calm in the storm. That's what you want to be like right now where he is.
Moustakas swings and misses and strikes out. And Ogando really looking sharp today. He's been averaging about 11 pitches per inning. Royals fans, be sure to catch all of the exciting action of the 2013 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox, TBS, and MLB Network, starting with the wild card on October 1st. Here is Lorenzo Cain. Oh, wouldn't a big fly be nice? Talked about that Cain big fly on July 4th to help the Royals come back from behind to beat Cleveland. And Kansas City has only hit 2 in their last 8 games. Hosmer belted 1 in the 9th. And Cain waves at that off-speed pitch.
Only scored 3 runs in their last 2 games against the Texas Rangers. And really, when the Royals score 3 runs, more than 3, the record is 60-12. So not asking for a lot is the pitching staff.
In there, strike 3 call.
Boy, Lorenzo just gave up on it, but that ball came right back over the inner half of the plate. Nice pitch. It started out, it looked like it was a ball, but it had a little bit of movement, and A.J. Pierzynski, he helped him. He sold it nicely there.
The Royals and Rangers both know these are all must-win games. Rangers certainly closer than the Royals, but still 8 games to go. Cleveland, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, the Yankees, Texas all right there with Kansas City. Yankees are tied at 1 in the 6th with San Francisco. Cleveland getting ready to sweep Houston as they lead 7-2 in the 7th.
I loved it when you asked George, what do you think? And he turned it on you and said, Fizz, look at the people out there in the seats. What do you think?
I think it has been fantastic. The energy we've seen in Kansas City more and more. I went down to the art fair yesterday on the plaza, and I saw more hats and shirts with KC Royals on them. And it was great to see. They're proud of the way the teams played.
Well, you know, I think it's great that Fox Sports Midwest added 3 games here towards the last week of the season to allow the fans to be able to watch their team on the road. But that art festival next year, Fizz, we won't be able to go to it because I got to believe every game will be televised. But it sure was special there, though.
3-1.
All right. Now, I would say make him throw another strike, but the way that Maxwell, he can hit him out of the park, he's got to be looking for a dead red fastball right here from Ogando. Give the team the lead.
Checks his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. It's a full count.
That's okay. He don't want the walk. He wants the solo homer. Same situation here, 3-2. Except that pitch there was perfectly located. That was on the outer half. That was not his pitch to hit out. He's got to make a mistake.
4 of Maxwell's 6 home runs have come as a Royal, and he swings and misses here, and Ogando strikes out the side. Baltimore right now tied with Kansas City with records of 81 and 73 going in, and the Royals and Rangers scoreless as we head to the 6th. Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler. We're joined by Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Monty, I've got to first ask you, Shields gets hit in the elbow. I'm sure you've been drilled before, but it kind of tells you how tough he is to continue competing.
And it's very difficult to come back after getting hit. One, physically, you know that something's going on. You just don't have the same feel. A lot of things go on from a physical side, but from a mental side, you're always concerned about, am I going to be able to finish my pitches? Am I going to be able to execute my delivery? And James Shields has done a really nice job in really putting that aside and being a bulldog out there.
Monty, in between innings, when you get hit on the end of the elbow, that's a bone. There's not much you can do as far as treating him during the game.
Well, sometimes actually the bone is actually better than the muscle, because when you have something going on with the muscle, you don't have the ability to execute the pitches. The bone is more pain, and it's going to linger much longer, but it is very difficult, to get past that. Just understanding, one, that I'm healthy and I can go out and execute.
Great point. Flesh swells. Bone, just bone bruise.
Right, it hurts a lot more.
How about our AT&T rewind? And Salvador Perez has thrown out a couple.
Okay, the early one, wow, that was just a gimme. I don't understand why Andrus was trying to steal that base. But then this one here, oh, that was a beauty. He even throws with passion.
He's been a weapon, that's for sure. And as a pitcher, I can tell you that's a much appreciated feeling when you get an out. It's almost like a freebie. Christmas came early today.
To second base, Bonifacio gobbles it up. 1 out. Well, we're going to ask our AT&T trivia question with Jeff Montgomery in the booth, and the question is, which pitcher has the most total saves in the last 5 years? We'll give you the answer later in the game.
Well, that's got to be a tough one from Al today.
I know you'd think that it would be Mariano Rivera jumping out at you, but Papelbon has had a lot of saves for Philadelphia and Boston.
What about Joe Nathan?
Joe Nathan of the Texas Rangers and previously the Minnesota Twins. But remember, Joe had a couple of years that he missed because of the Tommy John surgery.
Right, he did miss that entire season 2 years ago, I believe.
Of course, Greg Holland, one save away from Dan Quisenberry and Jeff Montgomery's team record at 45. And Monty, you've said many times what Greg Holland has done this year is the greatest season as a closer in Royals history.
Well, I think it's the most dominant for sure. If you look at his save percentage, he's been almost perfect. He had a couple of games early in the season where he spun his wheels just a little bit, but since those first few games, he's been merely he's almost unhittable at times in the strikeout to walk ratio, but that save percentage, I think that's what really stands out.
That one blown save in Philadelphia, we remember how bad the weather was. Ground ball sharply struck Escobar. 2 outs.
Nice hands. He was able to make that last minute adjustment on that hop, keep it from being a base hit. Now, who deserves the credit, Monty, in your opinion, for trading Broxton and opening the door for this young phenom right here?
Well, I think he had proven a couple of years ago that he had the ability to be a closer, but until you really are given that opportunity, it's a little bit of a gamble. And I think you have to credit Dayton Moore and the guys who said, let's give this guy a shot. I know Dave Island's been very instrumental in all these pitchers' development. Ned Yost has given Greg Holland great opportunities to go out there. And once you do it and you kind of establish yourself, you just have raised the bar. You've raised your game and what your expectations are and what your team's expectations from you are. And I think everyone has to get a lot of credit for giving Greg Holland the opportunity.
Including Greg Holland.
Oh, absolutely.
Beltre to center field and deep. Kane back at the wall, there to make the catch. And a huge sigh of relief exhaled by James Shields as he'll wait for Kane to come in. Say thank you very much.
I'm going to tell you, that was a tough play.
Let's go back to Independence Day here at the K. Lorenzo Cain off Ubaldo Jimenez, a grand slam tying the game. The Royals would rally and win it. A rally sauce.
I'll tell you, the grand slam, the first in his career, was a beautiful thing for the player. But Lorenzo warmed his heart to give that check to her.
Debbie Hassett. And the fans right now think that is the top moment. 44% over 40%. Now George Brett came in here and he voted for us. So the fans said we're going with George, number 5.
And they should. Hey, Fizz, I never hit a grand slam. Now I wanted to, but a certain part of my anatomy would always shrink up whenever I got up there with the bases loaded.
Can we move on?
No, but I commend Lorenzo for getting that one out of the way in his young career.
Nice play by Beltre. Flat-footed, he throws out Escobar. All right, let's quickly change the subject from Rex's conversation to the Sonic Slam. The 6th is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Mary Lou Crum from Overland Park. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Mary Lou will win $1,300, but if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mary Lou will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. That's Melu Crum from Overland Park. The batter is Alex Gordon.
I don't know what Beltre was doing on the line right there. He just saved a leadoff double.
Gordon has struck out and lined out, and his line out, had Andrus played anywhere else, it would have been a base hit. Pulled that to the right side. Kinsler has it. And I tell you what, this Ogando isn't throwing very many pitches at all. He's got 2 outs in the 6th inning, and he's only thrown 60 pitches.
Well, they're swinging early on him, and you can't blame him. He's got a really good changeup on it today, and his little slider, it almost looks like a cutter, but he's really locating it out away from the middle of the plate.
And the location's been a key factor for him. I remember him over the years. He's pitching in relief. He started some games against the Royals, but oftentimes he's had issues with the command, but today he's been spot on.
And because of the health issues this year, we weren't sure what Ogando we would see. Even the Texas broadcaster said the same thing. He had thrown 4 games in relief since coming off the disabled list, and then started his last time out and beat the Rays 7-1.
Well, and in those bullpen outings, he was trying to just pitch the ball. He wasn't throwing it. He was trying to be cute. They told him, look, the reason we got you out there is to blow it by guys. Use that strong arm and quit trying to finesse. You're not a finesse pitcher. So that's what we're seeing, unfortunately, this afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, because we saw that really with Luke Hochevar when they put him in the bullpen. He became that guy that was, let's see that good fastball, and he's been a better pitcher as a result.
And Ogando mainly has been that fastball changeup. And Bonifacio makes a fan happy with a souvenir. He's checking his bat, though. Seems to be all in one piece, and he'll head back to the box with a 1-2 count. Royals 3.5 back, 8 games to go. Two balls and 2 strikes, and so many close games. 53% of the games that the Royals have played this year have been decided by 2 or fewer runs. Both in this series, Royals won on Friday 2-1 and lost last night 3-1. Foul.
Wow, they're missing a hit or two, a big hit. That's what they're missing. They're coming close. They've only left 2 men on base, the Royals. They hit 2 hard balls in that inning, and they couldn't score the run. Right at guys.
And I really thought one of the keys would be getting the speed guys on and pressuring this Texas defense, but they have not been able to get Bonifacio on, or Kane, or Escobar. And now a strike 3 is called on Emilio, and that will do it for the Royals in the 6th. It's time for our AT&T trivia question and answer. And we're going to let Jeff Montgomery go first. Which pitcher has the most total saves in the last 5 years?
I got to guess Papelbon.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go with Craig Kimbrell.
Papelbon, it is 172 with the Red Sox and Phils.
Way to go, Monty. You got here just in time.
2 winning teams, you're almost always guaranteed 40 saves with Papelbon and the Red Sox, and then, of course, with the Phils.
And that's a big key, is being on teams that win a lot of games and have a lot of opportunities.
Well, fans, the Smash Hit Facebook game that puts you in the owner's suite is now available on iPhone and iPad. Choose your favorite MLB team and build your stadium, staff, the front office, sell concessions, sign players, and more as you guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today. Data and usage rates may apply. I did that growing up. I had my own expansion draft and everything. And James Shields would like some work done on the mound, so he's called the grounds crew to come out. And the umpire is allowing him to do that, as he just did not like where his foot was landing.
This is one of the best fields in baseball. However, we've seen James Shields, who's very particular in different stadiums across the country, want that mound just like he wants it.
Rex, a lot of times you see what they're going to do is put some clay or remove some clay in that area right in front of the pitcher's rubber, because as the game goes on and a pitcher drives, like Ogando may be a guy that drives and digs out a lot of dirt. As a result, James Shields is going to be there with his foot kind of buried down. He doesn't have the ability to push back off the rubber, so he almost loses that drive. So they're going to have him fill it in. And I know as a relief pitcher coming in, in the 8th or 9th inning, a lot of times guys dig out such gigantic holes. I remember Dave Stewart from the A's, man, he had a hole out there that I could almost get lost in. So a lot of times it was up to me or the grounds crew to fill that in to be able to make it work.
Besides Dave, who was the worst with the Royals when you would come in?
Well, let me think. I know Gooby, he would put a big hole in the area right in front of the rubber. A lot of those big starting pitchers, man, they were just so big and gigantic. They would, just from
and
their
Gubi
drive.
was a drop and drive guy too.
What about Apier?
Yeah, Kevin Apier too. He would get out there almost like a raging bull and just start stomping around and digging out that hole before the game even started.
Oh my gosh, and to be breathing fire.
Yeah.
James says he likes it. Good work, Trevor and his crew. And now A.J. Pierzynski will be the batter. The Rangers have 5 hits, 1 extra base hit. That was a double by Beltre. Pierzynski is 0 for 2, but twice has hit the ball sharply. Once flying out to Kane in center, and the other to left center to Alex Gordon. Clutch player through the years, 17 home runs this year. Hit 27 last year with Chicago. Strike 1. Popped him up. Tough play for Moustakas. And he cannot hold on, but that was a fine effort by Moose to get there.
I mean to tell you, that is an extremely difficult play to pull off. If someone would have caught that ball, man, I would have been really impressed. You got the sun that you're dealing with on that side of the field. You got the flight of the ball that's moving towards the stands, and you got 3 guys trying to converge.
And normally that would be a ball
that was in there
that Alex would have a chance to catch with the shift on against Pierzynski, the left-handed batter. Probably a longer distance for him to run than anyone.
And that wind is blowing out towards left. But Alex says that can be deceiving. Pulled foul. Gordon says because of the bowl shaped here at the K, that wind will come, even though it looks like it's blowing out towards left, will curl around the bowl and push back out towards left field. And that's why he says he never gives up on a play where if it looks like it's going to go into the seats in foul territory. Well, Pierzynski making James work, and Pierzynski doesn't walk much. I mean, he's only walked 11 times, struck out 71 this year, but makes contact.
Steve talking about how that ball will blow back since they've reconfigured the stadium with all the outfield experience and all the construction from the renovation. Things actually have changed a little bit over the years, and I know a couple ballparks are similar like that. Fenway Park, same thing.
Yeah, Alex says he'll go out and take fly balls during batting practice, and then he'll go out there during the game, and it'll be totally different. And of course, the big scoreboard in center field that knocks quite a few long drives down. And the wind appears to be blowing out, but not in center. 2 areas on each side of the scoreboard. It'll rush out. Ball in the dirt, and now it's even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. James has thrown a total of 80 pitches as he begins his 7th inning. He's coming off a terrific performance beating Cleveland earlier this week. Struck out a season high 10 in 6 innings, but he was out after 6, throwing 107 pitches. This is an unusual performance by AJ because he's usually not that patient a hitter. He's gone from 0-2 to 3-2.
I would say no free passes. However, he's a base clogger. Be careful with the location.
He swings and sends it to center field. Kane is there, and Shields wins this long duel. Well, Jeff Montgomery, I want you to comment on this because at Yankee Stadium today, it's the final regular season game at Yankee Stadium for the great Mariano Rivera. Rachel Robinson was there to greet him, and this guy has been the greatest closer of all time.
Yeah, not only a great closer, just a great human being. He's done so much for baseball, so much for his community, and what he's done on the field will never be repeated. I mean, it's just his records will stand, I think, forever.
And as you talked about the opportunities, he came up in '96 as the setup guy to John Wetland. And even though Wetland saved all 4 games in their World Series, they knew Rivera was the future. They let Wetland go to Texas, and Mariano became the closer for the next 2 decades. Mitch Moreland fouled off. In your final year, Jeff, what was it like for you emotionally, knowing that it was going to be your final season?
It was tough, but I was ready for it. I was fortunate to play a long time in baseball, and every season, with the exception of my last season, which I was injured and ineffective, and I just didn't have much fun, I was ready for it to be over. And I always said, there are 2 people who let me know it's time, and one is a hitter, and the second will be my wife, and they both let me know very loudly that it was time for my last year.
I'll always remember the comment that Jim Palmer gave Cal Ripken Jr. when Cal asked Jim Palmer how he would know when it was time to retire, and Jim Palmer said very quickly, "Don't worry, Cal, the pitchers will let you know."
Yeah.
1 out, another long count after Pierzynski battled with Shields before flying out. Now Moreland with a 2-2 count. As soon as James nodded yes to what Salvador threw down, Moreland called time. Left field. Gordon. 2 out.
Rex, I'm not sure about you, and Steve, a little bit more on the last year. It's such a long season, and you feel at times as good as you've ever felt, but just the grind and going out there every day, there are just certain days when you just don't have it. And I think that's the hardest thing, is to realize when that time comes, and that's what's difficult, is to accept the fact that you can't go out there 162 times and play at the level that you expect from yourself and what your team expects from you.
And it can be really disheartening and depressing for players. So
but I will say this, and I'm coming from a broadcast perspective, that yes, it's a grind, but this season has been remarkable. That's why there's so much energy, where you're excited to get to the ballpark to broadcast the team. And the same thing is true with this year's Royals. There's an incredible energy in September where, Monty, there have been some heartbreaking losses. Next day they'll come out and win that game.
Yeah, this has been a roller coaster season, and when you're playing good baseball, whether you're in the midst of a winning streak or you're in a season where so many things have gone well for a team, you can't wait to get to the ballpark. And in bad years, you can't wait for off days and for the season to end. These guys can't. These guys didn't like it when they had an off day last week. They wanted to play baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Craig Gentry. I thought earlier this week it was a great example. Yordano Ventura pitched a brilliant game. The crowd was into it. The Royals lost that night, heartbreaking loss. They came back the next day and beat the Tribe. To left field, and that's trouble. Base hit for Gentry. Now he'll, after he slowed up at first base, he finally realized that the ball was called fair. And then he sprinted to second base with a 2-out double.
I tell you why he was slowing up. He was afraid Gordon was going to throw him out at second. That's the kind of reputation Alex Gordon has in left field.
It looked like maybe a fan kind of got a piece of this ball. Otherwise, it may have ricocheted back for Alex to make a throw.
Hit the top rail. Okay, watch him. He's checking it out. He's not sure Alex is going to catch it because he's been well schooled by Gary Pettis, the third base coach, about Alex's arm.
Now David Murphy. This guy is a tough out. A veteran, 31 years of age. Great star at Baylor. He's been so clutch for the Rangers through the years when they've been to the postseason 3 straight times, including the World Series twice. Murphy got a lot of starts in those postseasons, even though they lost to San Francisco and St. Louis. They pushed it to the limit, losing in 7 games.
Okay, Gentry runs well at second base. Outfield arms will come into play on a base hit. Lorenzo Cain has 7 in center field. Gordon is the best with 15. The one number that's going in James Shields' favor is David Murphy's only hitting 184 with a runner in scoring position this year.
A 3-1 count to Murphy with Martin waiting on deck.
In this situation, James Shields will not give in here to David Murphy.
Being extremely careful. And Murphy tried to check his swing. He went, and now the count's full, 3-2. Do you go back there with your changeup?
There's a lot you can do right here, but you want to finish him on a quality pitch. If you don't get the swing and miss, you get a little tapper, do something, but it's got to be a real quality pitch here.
Murphy believed it would be a fastball. The crowd on their feet. He struck him out. What a performance by James Shields. There's a reason they call him Big Game James.
That way you finish him off, James Shields.
So Hosmer, who hit a home run in the 9th inning last night, wouldn't that be nice? Matt Garza threw a high fastball that was away from Eric, but he's a strong kid. And there is strike 1.
Key to this game may be getting into the Rangers bullpen, and I see now they have a couple of guys throwing down on the bullpen, but that can be misleading this time of year because you have so many guys on your roster. They may be getting work in and not really getting ready to maybe come into the game.
They have 5 left-handers available and 8 right-handers in the pen. Saw the other day where Tampa Bay used 11 pitchers in an extra inning game.
And there's Joakim Soria.
Boy, Hosmer trying to chase that outside fastball, which has late life.
Yeah, but he's in a tough position down 0-2.
Indeed, particularly with that changeup always available.
He's protecting.
Lefty's only batting 190 against Ogando this year. One ball, 2 strikes. Backhanded. Andrus throws accurately, 1 out. Fans swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com that features previous Home Run Derby competitors. Enjoy the arcade mode that brings high impact thrills as you compete for the highest scores, or Derby mode that recreates the authentic Derby tournament. Available on iPhone and iPad. Download MLB.com's Home Run Derby game for free today. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Jeff Montgomery, and Joel Goldberg with you at the K. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. And a tremendously pitched game by Alexi Ogando and James Shields. Billy Butler with a favorable count at 2-0. Billy with 14 home runs this year. His last was 91 at bats ago. He's due. Why not now? Looking for his first September home run. Chops one up the middle. Andrus fires him out. Baseball season isn't over yet, so don't forget to pick up the latest Royals gear at Rally House. Salvador Perez digs in. He is 0 for 2. Grounding out to first and lining out to left.
Tell you, in the Royals offense and their defense, this guy is pitching his game. And when you got a pitcher like that, Monty, you're not going to hit.
He's on his
high
game for
chopper.
Sure.
Ogando continues his excellence. Wow, he has been lights out through 7, allowing the Royals only 2 hits. Standing room only at the K on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and these fans have seen a tremendous pitch game between James Shields and Alexi Ogando. And Jeff Montgomery, one of the goals that Dayton Moore set was for his starting rotation to throw 1,000 innings, and with 7 innings thrown by James, right now that total is at 944 1/3, almost a little more than 50 innings away from the goal, and the team, the starting rotation, through 890 last year.
Yeah, it's such a marked improvement. I think if you look at one aspect of this team and one area of improvement, that's obviously the one that stands out more than any, and the reason we're playing in front of a standing room only crowd here today.
Well, these Royal fans have been waiting since 1985 for their team to return to postseason. Still alive, and a tense one with Texas. Royals won on Friday 2-1, lost last night 3-1. Martin hits one to Hosmer, who sees the end of the bat come his way and still has the wherewithal to see the baseball and the bat, make the play on the ball, and record the out on a very fast runner.
Hard to get anything through him. You can hit him by him if you hit it clean, but rarely do you ever see anything at him get by him.
Even with the decoy.
I think he's going to win a Gold Glove this year. It'll be close. There's a couple other first basemen in the league that are having really good seasons, not only defensively but offensively, and that helps.
And the way his bat has come alive, during the last 4 months or so of the season, it'll certainly improve his odds.
One-0 pitch is inside to Kinsler. Dangerous batter here. Kinsler in the past has hit more than 30 home runs in a season, only 12 this year. And he skies this one in the air, right center, playable for Justin Maxwell. He makes the catch for the second out. And Jeff, before you leave, I wanted to ask you about Yordano Ventura. You watched him earlier this week, and he is a guy we've been hearing about the last couple of seasons. He touched almost 102 miles an hour on the radar gun the other night. Just your thoughts on this young guy.
Well, obviously great stuff. His ability speaks for itself, but the way he composed himself, I didn't really know what to expect. That he was really in control and command out there, and like he had been out here for years. I mean, just have to really appreciate the fact that he makes a huge start in a huge situation in a pennant race, and he goes out and handles himself the way he did.
September really valuable for a guy like that.
Absolutely. I mean, that experience he got will be, it will mean a huge amount for him moving forward, and obviously he'll be a big key and a big part of the equation in figuring out who's going to be in the rotation come next season.
Up the middle, Escobar throws out Andrus. How about the job by James Shields? Pats his glove, and we give him a standing ovation. Moose, Kane, Maxwell coming up. The Royals would love to overtake them and find one of those final spots. As we see a new pitcher, Tanner Scheppers, come out of the bullpen. Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on the 6'4", 200-pounder from Fresno State.
Hopefully, this is the guy that they can get to.
Ooh, and that was a pitch in Moustakas' wheelhouse.
Because they sure couldn't get to Ogando. He was fabulous this afternoon. Scheppers, he's got a fastball, pretty good one. He's going to run it up there mid-90s. He's got a curve and a change.
He strikes out Mike Moustakas on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Blew it by him up in the zone.
He's been really good. You mentioned from Fresno State. Because the Fresno State Bulldogs have won only one College World Series title. That was in 2008, and he was a part of Batesell's staff. Mike Batesell is the coach there at Fresno State.
Now Lorenzo Cain, and Cain takes strike one. Beltre will field it very quickly. 2 outs. These two teams have the top bullpen ERAs in the American League. The Royals obviously have the very best ERA in the American League at 2.55, and Texas is right about 2.9. Greg Holland and the rest of that crew, those are the guys who say, let's get it to him. They wear those T-shirts. Or Hochaver says, I get it to him. And then, of course, Holland says, I'm him. He with the 44 saves.
But a run is what he needs.
And Maxwell lost that thumb guard that came flying off as he is down in the count on Sheppers. 0-2. Well, we certainly have seen great pitching. Only a total of 7 runs by both teams in the first 3 games. He challenged him at 99.
To be able to get the ball in a situation like this, your manager has to have extreme confidence in you. And his pitching coach, Mike Maddox, believes that Sheppers has figured it out. And he's tough. With a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, he's located it. 99, excuse me.
2 strikeouts in the inning. We head to the 9th inning here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, still looking for our first run. One of the best closers in baseball is coming out of the bullpen, Greg Holland. Pitching in his 65th game, 96 strikeouts in 63 innings, a 1.29 ERA.
Okay, opponents aren't doing much off of him. Mid to upper 90s fastball, split finger, and a slider combination that's been unhittable. The reason he's in an unsafe situation is they've already warmed him up. There's not a chance for him to save it this late in the game. It's tie game. So get him in there.
Greg is our Chevy call to the bullpen. He immediately delivers a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to Alex Rios for strike one. Holland's numbers are ridiculous. We told you of the strikeouts to innings pitched, but only 37 hits in 63 innings, and that adds up to a 168 batting average against. Rios swings and misses on that split or slider. We're never sure which it is.
So why not just call it a splitter?
That's what Ryan Lefebvre calls it. Greg will tell you, he said, more than likely it's the slider because I throw that one more than the split. And that one's in the dirt. Gets away from Salvador, and Rios is going to race to first and make it safely. So it will be a strikeout. Wild pitch. Rios is safe at first, and this is a speed guy who has stolen 38 bags this year to lead off the 9th.
Boy, was that one tough. Salvador did all he could do to try to keep it in front of him. Holland's 10th wild pitch, and it's easy to know why, because those 2 pitches that we mentioned, his secondary pitches, break down and in the dirt, and they're hard to control.
The runner was going. The throw is not in time. Oh, and Bonifacio complains because it looked like that tag was there. And here comes Ned Yost.
Yeah. I agree with Ned. We haven't seen a replay yet, but that throw was right there. Unless he was able to get underneath the tag, I'm not so sure. Okay, it was the tag. Okay, you want to straddle that base. Okay, he's out in front, but you straddle that base and you're already there, and you just drop it on him. So he's off to the side like that, and Bonifacio wasn't in the right position. He was there in plenty of time, but that's why you straddled the base. Takes too long to sweep tag on that. You got to go down and up with a tag.
We thought Salvador Perez was going to go 3 for 3, throwing out Ranger base stealers. But Rios now at second base, representing the go-ahead run with the dangerous Beltre, who leads the club in RBIs with 88 at the plate. Shields was able to get out of a jam in the 4th inning after the leadoff man Beltre had doubled, but James was able to get Pierzynski in a flyout, Moreland on a lineout, and Gentry in a flyout. Now Greg Holland needs to deal with Beltre, Pierzynski, and Moreland.
Okay, that was his setup pitch there. He wanted to keep that pitch up and out of the zone. Set up one of his split finger or slider pitches. There it was, but he didn't bury it like he wanted to, or else Beltre wouldn't have hit it.
Beltre did a remarkable job even touching that last pitch.
Okay, we'll show you the setup pitch that Salvi called for. He says we're going to think about the next one. Okay, they were fortunate that the ball, and here it is. There's the one that you go back with. Anybody's call what comes here.
Left field, Gordon. Rios is tagging. Alex with the catch. Rios is going. Here's the throw, and he is out! Wow, what a play by Alex. His 16th assist this year.
Oh, what a chance Rios took. Didn't have to do it, but his ball was deep. He understands Gordon's the best thrower in the world, and he lost. This is beautiful action. Look at that transfer from glove to hand. On the money, honey. And Beltre says, what? What's he tagging for? No! Can't run on that guy. Now the crowd's woken up. The momentum has swung.
This may be the regular season, game 155, but we are seeing playoff type baseball. What a throw by Alex Gordon. He'll win his 3rd Gold Glove. Pierzynski to 3rd. Moustakas. High throw. Hosmer's tall. We'll see Alex Gordon at the plate. He's had a couple of walk-offs this year. He's also had some big home runs. Let's bring the Royals home a victory in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be right back. Alex Gordon will bat second. The crowd roaring. When he came out of that dugout, What a play to cut down Rios at third base.
Got him by plenty.
Third base umpire Jim Wolf was just making sure Moose had the baseball, and when he did, he said, "You are out." Tanner Shepard staying in the game after he blew through the Royals in the 8th inning, striking out a pair and getting Kane on a ground out. Ooh, man, and then a nasty breaking ball on the outside corner for an 0-2 count.
Shepard, he does have 2 losses, Fizz.
And they have both been walk-offs. He lost a walk-off to the New York Yankees on June 25th. And less than a month ago, he lost to the Chicago White Sox. He chases that breaking ball well out of the zone, and that's 3 strikeouts of the 4 Royals that he's faced.
Boy, this guy, he is really, really tough to hit. And Ron Washington, he's not going to take a chance with Alex Gordon. They've already taken a big chance against him defensively and offensively. Now with the bat in his hand, Ron Washington, he's a smart man. I'm going to bring in a lefty.
Well, Shepard certainly did his job and more. Neil Kotz, who has had great success against left-handers this year, coming out of the bullpen. Bottom of the 9th inning, no runs yet. Alex Gordon, the batter, he has faced Neil Kotz twice and has a hit. But this is a guy who has the lowest relief ERA in the major leagues at 1.04. Left-handers hitting 196 off of him. In the last 29 games, of the 50 left-handers he's faced, only 6 have hits. That's a 120 average. So it will be a tough test here for Alex.
Alex is hitting .307 with 8 of his 20 home runs versus lefties. Fastball slider.
Strike 1. Kotz, a veteran, now 33 years of age, out of Lebanon, Illinois. He finally has found his craft this season because he's bounced around the major leagues. White Sox, Cubs, Pittsburgh, Yankees. Missed all of 2010 and 11 with a left elbow injury, but throwing strike after strike this year.
With a slider.
In there, strike 3 called, and Alex does not like the call from home plate umpire Ed Hickox.
Never seen Alex argue. Never seen Alex argue. That's the first time. Okay, now the second pitch, that's catching a little bit of the plate. Now let's see what his third one is. Pierzynski moves out even further, and I don't blame Alex.
The Fox track said it was a ball. Doesn't matter. The umpire ruled it a strike. Bonifacio, 2 out, nobody on, and Emilio punches it foul. And Adrian Beltre really playing him close. He's on the edge of the infield grass at third, and only a couple of steps trying to take that extra base hit away from Emilio.
It's almost like the Royals offense is tasting a little bit of their own medicine. It's almost like they're facing their own bullpen. The Rangers, number 2 behind the strong-armed Royals bullpen, and they're showing it. When you have arms like that, like these guys that are throwing strikes, and you know, Frazier, he's out there too. He's been pinpoint. They're going to really make it tough on the offense.
Emilio takes a strike on the outside corner, a fastball at 93. Bonifacio 0 for 3 with a pop up in the first a ground out in the 3rd, and he struck out looking against Ogando in the 6th. 3-2.
Yeah, there's some 94.
Sold out at the K, all standing and roaring, hoping that Bonifacio can get on for Eric Hosmer. Collins warming in the Royal pen after Holland threw a shutout 9th. Middle. Martin has it. Will go extra innings here at the K. Nothing score. Texas and the Royals. Kauffman Stadium is rocking. This is the final regular season game, and that young fan is hoping for a blue October. The Royals 3.5 games back in the wild card race, battling 6 teams for 2 wild card spots. And Tim Collins now comes out of the bullpen. He is pitching in his 64th game this year.
Okay, Collins has just given up a 200 average this year in 95 at-bats against lefties. Only a couple of home runs. Keep it down and trust your stuff.
He will face a lefty in Moreland, and the right-handed swinging Gentry, and then a lefty in David Murphy.
Royals have had some success in extra inning games this year. And here at the K, they're 4-3.
Ball 1. Moreland 0 for 3. Out of play left side. Collins back in the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim this year in 51 1/3 innings, 46 hits allowed, 27 walks, 49 strikeouts. But more importantly is the success he has had since the All-Star break. He has a 1 ERA since the break, with opponents scoring just 4 unearned runs. In there. 1-2. Shields gave the Royals 8 shutout innings. Holland went the 9th. James 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 105 pitches. Pulled to the right side, easy play for Hosmer. 1 out. Collins to face Craig Gentry, who came in very hot. 7 hits in his previous 9 at bats. He's 2 for 3 in this one, and he has 1 of the 2 extra base hits, a double by Beltre, a double by Gentry. But with Gentry at second base representing the go-ahead run, and the dangerous veteran David Murphy up with a 3-2 count, Shields really bore down and struck out Murphy.
Tell you what,
Gentry
though,
was left stranded.
we know Shields is tough, but after today, taking that line drive off of his elbow in the 3rd inning, and him coming out and going deep into the game, wow, he is a true ace.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
A gamer. Bring it.
Well, I loved his line the other day where he said about September, things can change overnight in September baseball, and this is what we play for. He talked about The Royals coming out after the All-Star break, feeling the entire team had. Popped up right side. Hosmer has to race back in foul territory to make the catch, and 2 out in the 10th. So we'll see a pinch hitter for David Murphy. They'll bring on a right-handed batter in Jeff Baker. How has Jeff been as a pinch hitter this year, Rex?
Baker is 0 for 6 with 1 RBI.
In his career, though, 5 home runs. That's a little like Justin Maxwell with 5 home runs as a pinch hitter.
The reason Ron Washington's putting him in there is he's hitting .320 off of lefties this year with 10 homers.
He's fallen behind 3 balls and no strikes.
2 outs, 3-0. A guy with his home run ability, you've got to give him a green light.
He did, and he fouls it straight back on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh yeah, he's quick, and I'm glad he didn't pipe one in there for him, because that ball would have been hit hard. It's a good short compact swing.
He's a veteran, 32 years of age, out of Virginia. Again, planted foul, another fastball up from Collins, and now Tim has some options after coming back 2 straight fastballs. He has an excellent changeup that he throws to right-handers. Got him!
Guts challenged him. Beautiful. Right down the middle. Baker, you got to go.
Extra innings baseball with a playoff-like atmosphere, but it's packed. Not quite like it was in St. Petersburg the other night, where they went 18 innings, and then David DeJesus had the walk-off, and when you're talking about 2 in the morning and no one being there, things get a little weird. Yeah, that's a Chewbacca head. There was another player wearing an Alice Cooper head. Strange things at 2 in the morning. Here, we just have a very loud crowd, everyone in uniform, looking for a walk-off.
How about here? Eric Hosmer belted his 17th last night. First pitch by Neil Cox, low ball 1. Hosmer's fly to right, walked, and grounded out.
He's hitting .322 with 5 homers against lefties this year. That leads the team.
In there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Okay, so Hosmer knows all about the slider because Alex told him. That's his go-to pitch. It's not a real big swinging breaking ball. It's a tight slider.
Outside 2-1.
That's a great take right there. He wanted to swing and a miss there.
The count's even 2-2. Let's go back to the month of June. Hosmer providing some heroics with this walk-off base hit. And then he was drenched with Billy Butler's rally sauce. They hit it a ton, barbecue sauce. Punches that one down the line. Into the corner it goes. Hosmer racing to second. There with a double.
It'll be interesting now to see if Ron Washington goes to Soria.
Well, he's got two righties in Butler and Perez, and we're expecting him to bring on the right-hander. Guy who pitched so well in a Royal uniform for so many years will now come out and try and keep them quiet.
How about this?
Here he comes, Joakim Soria. Pitched for the Royals from 2007 through 2012, 160 saves as a Royal. That's third in Kansas City history. And let's bring on Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery and your thoughts about Soria.
Well, Fizz, I had a chance to talk to Joakim the other day, one of the most liked Royals by his teammates during his long tenure here. Loved by the fans. We all know about the story coming back from Tommy John a second time. And Joakim, just one of the more laid-back, nice people you could ever talk to. In talking with him on Friday, he said, I'm very aware of what these Royals have done. I've been rooting for them. So proud of Greg Holland and the guys in that bullpen, and flattered he was that maybe he even had a small part in the success of those guys because he was the veteran that they looked up to. He is really excited about this Royals team, but obviously right now, at this moment, that's the furthest thing from his mind.
This is his first trip to Kansas City as a visiting player, ranked 7th in Royals history in appearances. And Jeff Montgomery, you know him well.
Monty, what's he going to throw?
Well, he's going to throw strikes, I can tell you that. He's a guy that's going to really challenge the hitters. He's got great stuff. He's going to throw a variety of pitches. That's the hardest thing about Joakim Soria. You never know what you're going to get from him.
What can Billy look for?
He's going to look to get ahead of Billy. I think that's a situation of most closers, most relief pitchers coming in the game. Their job is to get ahead. Now, Billy's seen Joakim Soria a lot during the course of his career, so probably a little bit of maybe an equalizer as far as that knowledge is concerned.
Monty, I've got to ask you this question because when we watched Soria in the past, he was always known for how cool and poised he was on the mound, but obviously a few emotions riding on the mound facing the team that you grew up with.
And that's right. That'll probably be the most difficult challenge for anyone who's making an appearance. Here we got a sold-out crowd. Joakim Soria making his first appearance here, so I'm sure the jitters are there even for an experienced guy like a Joakim Soria.
He still holds the Kansas City record with 36 consecutive saves. Holland was trying to break it until that streak was broken earlier this year. Hosmer represents the winning run at second base. And Billy Butler.
They're going to put him on.
Former teammate of Perez. So your thoughts about this intentional walk of Butler? Jeff.
Well, you're looking at the odds. You're looking at the situation. Certain guys on a team you say are not going to beat me, and this may be the guy that the Rangers said over the years, Billy Butler is not going to beat us.
Wow, but how about Salvador Perez, second in the American League in average with runners in scoring position, 357, behind the greatest hitter of our era, Miguel Cabrera.
Right, and he's been on fire, and I think you look at the situation, maybe trying to set up a double play, something, but you got to get 3 outs in some form or fashion, so you want to take your best odds.
Billy Butler walks. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Bottom of the 10th inning at Kauffman Stadium. Perez is 0 for 3. Reaching on a fielder's choice, then lining out sharply to left and grounding out back to the mound against Ogando to end the 7th.
Getsy's coming in to pinch run for Billy. And the importance for Chris Getz is to get as big a lead as he can. In case Salvador rolls over one and they try to turn 2, he's got to go get a piece of somebody. That first baseman's giving Getsy a lot of room over there at first to get a big lead.
Rex, the shadows have creeped over home plate, but they won't be an impact right now, will they?
No, because the hitter's made up his mind by the time it gets in the shadow. He took a good pitch there.
Big swing. He is down in the count, 0-2.
Okay, this is a smart pitch. Fastball up. Unhittable. Maybe a foul ball at best.
He'll try it again at 0-2. Soria's best year was 2010 with 43 saves. Way outside.
Ooh, and a nice catch by Pierzynski. That would have moved him over. Look at this. Boy, I tell you, that could have hit off his heel easily.
Hit sharply, knocked down by the shortstop, goes to second, safe there, the bases are loaded. Ned Yost ran Chris Getz for Billy Butler, and that was a wise move. Well, the Royals would have had their first out. Instead, they're loaded with nobody out, and Mike Moustakas is up.
Boy, great job, Salvi. Just got the top hand on that to pull it out of the range of Andrus. He couldn't get a handle on it. By the time he threw to second base, they're safe.
Infield in, outfield in.
Okay, look for a ball up. That's all he wants to do is look for something up that's elevated that he can hit one out to the drawn-in outfield.
Ball one.
And Soria knows it. He's trying to keep that ball down below the knees.
The Royals beat Texas on Friday on a bases-loaded walk in the 8th inning.
Give the fans something to think about as they go home.
Time called. Something was on the field, and Gary Pettis wanted to pull it off. Hosmer third, Getz second, Perez first. The only man that matters is Hosmer at third. In there, 1-1.
Hickox is giving the corners.
Beltry takes care of Moustakas. Lorenzo Cain had been in the on-deck circle, and now they will change up and go with George Kataris.
Okay, this is a money move. You're going with the percentages. And the fact that George Kataris is 2 for 7 with an RBI off of the bench is one of the reasons he's going to it. Very selective, very patient hitter. And that's a lot of respect paid to Kataris right there. To be able to get the call in a game like this. Same situation. He's going to look for something elevated. Drawn in infield. Biggest hole is up the middle. Outfield, anything medium depth will get the job done. Because they're all shallow. They're way in.
Ball one. George, a very patient hitter. The discipline and understanding of that strike zone is what impressed the Royals offensive coaches first. Takes a shot and pops it back foul and out of play, and the count will move to 1 ball, 1 strike. Every game must win for both teams. Texas, though, is closer. Within a half game of the wild card spot, the Royals 3.5 games back with 7 to play after this one. Two and one. Looked like George was ready to pull the trigger and then laid off it. A chopper to the second baseman. They get the force there, and the Royals with the bases loaded and now 2 outs.
Okay, Soria doing his job, keeping the ball down, and he got Kataris to hit over the top of it. Pierzynski didn't like his chances of doubling him up there, taking a risk. It could kick off of him, Kataris, and Getz would score the winning run. So Pierzynski, a smart play there.
Now the infield backs up for Texas.
In the outfield, they go back out to their positions too. So a tough situation.
Maxwell swings and misses at the first pitch fastball.
Okay, that's a good swing and a perfect count. Look for something early. Bases loaded. Soria wants to come in there and get ahead.
The inning started with Hosmer doubling, an intentional walk to Butler, and infield hit by Perez. And then Soria bared down, got Moustakas on a pop-up, and Kataris on a grounder to second where he threw home. Two balls, 1 strike.
Soria being a veteran, he knows that how hard it is to hit a fastball. So he's going to throw fastballs down in the zone, looking for contact, but hoping that they hit it at somebody, just like he did with Kataris.
In there, barely got the outside corner right at the knees, and I don't think Maxwell liked the call at all.
Looked down.
Caught the corner.
Great pitch.
It's 3-2. Soria always known for his great command
and poise.
We told you with this Royals organization at the big league level from 2007 through last year. Hit high in the air and deep to left, and look at this! A walk-off grand slam home run by Justin Maxwell. This crazy season gets more remarkable by the day.
And that ball wasn't walking, Fizz.
Whoa.
That ball was hit a ton.
Without a doubt, the votes are in. Our Ford Player of the Game, Justin Maxwell. A walk-off grand slam.
It can't get any more exciting.
Look at that.
What a special trot around the bases. Emotional. What a send-off. And get these fans fired up to come back to the K in October. You never know.
82nd win of the year. They've guaranteed themselves a winning season for the first time since 2003.